While most of our site is made up of individual detail content pages, such as articles or products, three crucial pages provide users access to these other detail pages. The home page features 3 articles and 3 products and points to the article and product page lists. The main article page contains a list of articles and links to each. Likewise, the products page contains a list of products and links to each of them. Let's look at how to mark up each of these pages. Let's start with the simplest, the main product page. Here we have each of the products of our site listed with hyperlinks to each individual product page. We'll eventually lay this out as a thumbnail grid. But this page is a great example of how list markup can be used to create great organizing structures. We have essentially an unordered list of products. Each list item contains the product's name, price, and image. So inside this page's main tag, I'll remove the heading we had put here temporarily and instead add a UL tag with 5 LIs inside that each contain a hyperlink. I'll point to each of my product pages and then provide a placeholder image, product name, and price in paragraphs below this. Since I'll need handles to style them later and distinguish between the name and the price, I'll add a class on each of these to match its nature. For the images, I should have prepared images earlier in the process when I was collecting my product information. I can easily upload these into the site's images folder. I should first be sure to name them appropriately, then use Codio's upload feature to get them uploaded. Finally, I can update my image paths to point to each respective image. Now I'll preview the page and make sure everything looks correct. My images are not the right size based on my wireframe, but I can control this with CSS or just create better images later. This works for now. I also need to make sure the paths work, pointing to each product correctly. We'll use a lot of the same ideas for our main products page on our articles page. Here again we have a list, but this time it's composed of article preview content. We'll show the cover image, title, author, date, and a short excerpt lead-in for the article, along with links to the article page itself. So again, we'll replace this temporary page name with a UL containing 5 LIs. Now most of us probably expect to be able to click on the image and title of these items and be taken to the corresponding article in addition to the Read More link. So we'll add a hyperlink with an image inside it and point the hyperlink to the article page. For the title, it makes sense to create this as a heading and then place the hyperlink to this article inside the heading. Next, we'll place a paragraph that contains the author and date. Since we're presenting these on the same line, there's no reason we have to mark them in separate paragraphs or even as a list, but we could distinguish them one from the other with inline markup as needed. We'll follow this with a paragraph containing the article's lead-in content. You can just enter the first paragraph of your article here until you have better plans. Last of all, we can place a hyperlink to the article with the label Read More. As with the products, we can also upload the article cover images we prepared earlier when we collected our content. Again, ensuring they're named appropriately, we just upload them into Codio, then add the correct paths to these images. Once again, we'll test this page in the browser and make sure things work as expected. This includes both having all the correct images showing up and each page linked correctly. Last of all, the home page is a combination of work we've already completed in the other 2 list pages, but with a few small changes. First, we'll add a recent articles and featured products headings, which makes sense to be marked as H2s. Then we'll need an unordered list of articles much like the one we just built on our article page. So let's borrow that and modify it. We'll only need 3 items, so we can pull out the final 2. Then, while the second and third articles include the same cover image, title, author, date, lead-in, and link to read more, the first one includes only the cover image title. and link to read more. So we can pull out this one's author, date, and lead in. Now we need to make sure that the heading levels shift down because they're now subheadings of this H2. And finally, underneath this list, we can add the hyperlink that points to the main articles page. Next, underneath the Featured Products heading, we can paste the products list we just created on our main products page. We can pull out any 2 products so that only 3 remain, and we're good to go. We want the image name and price to be here for all 3 we have. Then we place a hyperlink to the product page underneath this list. Now let's make sure all our paths are still correct. Since we moved out a layer, we'll need to update the image paths and links to each page that are now inside a subfolder from here. Finally, we'll check our work in the browser, ensuring that all the images appear as planned and that the hyperlinks point to where they're supposed to point. The site is really coming together.